A young influencer named Kat is getting back from a party. She is with her dog, but it keeps pausing while walking, which frustrates her. She is on a call, and the dog goes inside the bushes to pee. She starts to click some selfies, but her dog doesn't return. Suddenly, it starts to rain, but she keeps on clicking pictures. But she is left horrified when she finds a coyote behind her in one of the pictures. She suddenly feels a pull on the leash, and the bushes start to rustle. She hears her dog crying, and some coyotes growling. Suddenly, the leash snaps, and she sees that it's smeared with blood. She tries to go and save her dog, but a coyote appears out of the bush. She starts to back up, but gets struck by a car. She lies there decapitated, but the car drives away. She is lying there helpless when all the coyotes come and shred her to pieces. There has been a recent coyote epidemic, and LA citizens are terrified as they are becoming victims of the vicious animals. An exterminator visits a home in LA. Scott owns this house, and he can hear some strange noise coming from the walls. The exterminator says that it's the work of rats, and they are getting inside through the doggy door and pipes. But Scott isn't 100% sure about it, as the sounds are too loud for rats to make. The exterminator says that there is no other possibility, and he sprays poison throughout the house to get rid of them. Scott's wife, Liv, and his daughter, Chloe, get back from the market. They have a dog named Charlie, and the exterminator says that dog food also invites rats, so they should get rid of it as well. Scott says that it's absolutely out of the question. Just then, he gets a call from his publisher and leaves. The family has become so distant due to Scott's job that Chloe addresses him by his name. But Liv promises her that his work is about to be done, and after that, they will have enough time for themselves. A weather forecast indicates that a major storm is approaching the city. Liv tells Scott that he promised he would trim the tree that has grown enormously. She says that there is a huge storm coming, and it might be dangerous. But he dismisses it, saying that news reporters always make things bigger than they are, and that he will do it later. They have planned a movie night, but Chloe says that she is grown up now. Just then, the bell rings, and she goes to open it. She opens the door only to find a woman standing there. They get into a little confusion, as she is an escort. She introduces herself as Julie, and they soon figure out that she is at the wrong house. She was supposed to be at their neighbor's, Tripp's, house, and she left. They start to watch the film, but Scott keeps on working, which upsets them. Chloe is in bed at night when she hears her dog barking. She goes to check and finds him staring at the doggy door. She opens it and starts to look around, but something passes by in an instant. Liv is reviewing Scott's work and says that it's the masterpiece he was trying to create. They start to get frisky, but Chloe gets inside the room. She says that there was some animal outside, and they need to check it out immediately. They don't want to ruin the romantic mood, but still go out. It's cats and dogs outside, and Scott says that it might have been a tree. Chloe insists that it was an animal, and Scott goes out to check. Suddenly, he finds a coyote standing there and growling at him. He tries to shoo it away, but it keeps walking towards him. But just when the light comes back, the coyote vanishes as well. They are coming back when something crashes outside, and the light goes off. He runs out and finds that the tree he was supposed to chop has fallen down. It has smashed his car, as well as the electric lines. The electric pole soon explodes, too. The next morning, LA is in a devastated condition. Their car is completely destroyed, so they have no way to leave the property. Liv suddenly finds a cat collar, smeared with blood. She goes to check at Tripp's house, and Julie opens the door. She thinks it's a food delivery, but Liv reminds her that she is the neighbor. She then asks about how they have electricity, and Julie says that Tripp keeps a generator handy. Tripp comes there, and Liv asks him if he has a cat. He says that he does, and she gives him the collar. He is shocked and reprimands Julie for not locking the door. But Liv seizes the opportunity to run away. Scott is chopping the tree with his friend Tony. He also remarks that the tree looks like it has some huge scratches on it. Tony says that it didn't damage the gas chamber, as that could have blown up their entire house. Liv is sitting with Chloe and realizes that they are running out of battery on their phone. Tripp is heartbroken about his cat and says that he is going to look for her. Just then, the generator runs out of battery. Julie freaks out as she will run out of her mobile backup. Just then, she finds his car keys and thinks of using them. Tripp is chilling with Scott when he receives messages from his wife, Sheila. He leaves immediately, as he doesn't want to upset her. On the other hand, the coyotes have started to gather in the area from everywhere. He is on his way when Sheila calls him. She is pissed at him, but he says that he is going to be back as soon as possible. He disconnects the call, but finds that a bunch of coyotes have started to follow him. He tries to shoo them away, but they get even more aggravated. He notices that their behavior is different, and suddenly, one rips out his ankle. He falls on the ground and starts to crawl. He begs for his life, but soon gets ripped to shreds by the animals. Trip hears the scream and goes to Scott's house. Chloe opens the door, and he asks her if she heard the scream, but she says that she didn't. He then asks for their help to look for his cat. Liv believes that Lucy was crushed under the tree when it fell, but Trip says that they should still look for her. They start to call her, but even Chloe says that they are quite sure that the cat is dead. Suddenly, Trip sees something and goes there, but he finds Lucy completely gutted under the tree and breaks down in tears. Sheila comes downstairs to call for Tony, but he still hasn't made it back home. She calls him, but goes straight to voicemail. They are in the garage when Chloe finds her childhood toys that she hasn't seen in years. Just then, Liv gets a call from Sheila. Scott gets there, and she tells him that Tony hasn't made it back home, and he isn't picking up his phone. But he says that Tony must have been wandering around a pub. Just then, they hear a growling noise coming from outside. Sheila is calling Tony and hears that the phone is ringing somewhere outside the house. A coyote comes to the house, but Scott remarks that it looks rather weak. But it starts to growl at them, which makes them scared. Liv asks Chloe to take the dog and get inside. Scott prepares to shut the garage door. He tries to do it, but the door is stuck. Just before it attacks him, the door shuts. Liv says that it seemed like the coyote wanted to eat Scott. It's night and Sheila is still looking for Tony. She follows his phone and finds his chopped pieces lying on the ground with a coyote. She is left horrified and immediately runs and secures herself inside the house. But her nightmare is far from over, as the coyotes have gotten inside the house. She tries to use fire to scare them away, but it has no effect. She tries to back up and trips on the burning barbecue. Suddenly, the gasoline catches fire and she is burned to ashes. The family is sitting for dinner, but Chloe is repulsed to find that she has to eat cold meat. Scott says that they can't heat it up as there is no electricity, but Liv reminds him that they still have gas. Just then, they hear more growling coming from outside. Julie is sitting inside the car charging her phone. Just then, she hears the coyotes quarreling outside. Liv says that she has never seen them like this. Chloe suggests that they might be hungry, but Scott remarks that feeding them is not a good option, as they will keep coming back. Julie is stuck inside as the noises keep growing. Suddenly, something passes over the roof, leaving her scared to death. She immediately leaves the car, but a coyote approaches her from behind. She tries to shoo it, and it goes away. Trip is mourning the death of his cat and decides to end his life. Just then, Julie comes there and scares him. He starts to cry uncontrollably and asks Julie to help him cope. She agrees to do so, but they do not notice that the door is ajar and the coyotes have started to get inside. Julie sees them and jumps out of there. Trip takes his gun and starts to shoot them. She leaves him and locks herself inside the bedroom. But soon he comes there as well, and she acts as if she never wanted to leave him. He hands her a rod and asks her to attack them with it. He then takes out 2 guns and gets ready to fight. The coyote soon breaks inside the room, and he starts to shoot aimlessly. Scott is playing charades with his family when they hear a gunshot. Scott suggests that it might be fireworks, but the noises are coming from inside. Liv says that there is something wrong and asks him to check it out. She tries to call 911, but it goes on hold. Scott goes outside and finds Charlie sitting there looking at a bush. He picks him up, but suddenly sees some rustling in the bushes. Before he can investigate further, Liv comes there. Suddenly, Charlie bites him and jumps. A coyote starts to come to them, and Scott asks Liv to get inside immediately. Chloe comes out, and Liv runs to secure themselves inside the house. Scott, on the other hand, runs to save Charlie. Chloe suddenly starts to cry and says that it's her fault. She says that she saw a frail coyote one day and started to feed it. After some days, it brought its friends for food, and this is the reason that the coyotes are coming for them. But Liv consoles her and says that this is not normal behavior. Scott goes to Trip's house to look for Charlie, but there is no one there. He finds a house in a completely distorted condition. Suddenly, he hears a gunshot coming from the bedroom. He goes inside and finds that the animals have eaten Trip's guts, but he is still alive, and the scene makes Scott nauseous. Suddenly, someone starts to shoot at him from the washroom, and it's Julie. He asks her to stop immediately and says that he is the neighbor she met earlier. She recalls him and stops shooting. He then gets inside, and she tells him everything. She says that she tried her level best to save him, but the animals were too vicious. So Trip asked her to save her life and hide inside the washroom. She could hear him scream as the animals tore him to shreds. Scott says that he needs to go to his family and she should join him as well. Julie says that she has the car keys, so they should drive away from there. He then requests her to go in front and cover Trip's body, as the sight of blood makes him nauseous. They are getting down when he gets a call from Devon, the pest control guy. Scott says that he knows what's behind the noise coming from those pipes. But Devon doesn't listen to anything and says that the pesticides he used will take at least 14 days to work. Scott tries to make him understand the gravity of the situation, but it's his day off, so he cuts the call. Julie says that it was of no help and that they need to run as soon as possible. But before they can escape, 3 coyotes approach them. They are about to attack, but Julie shoots and finishes all of them. Liv and Chloe are at home when they hear Charlie barking. She rescues him immediately and locks the door. But Liv can't understand why the animals have gone berserk. Julie and Scott sit inside the car and are about to drive off. But Julie says that the power is off, so the garage door won't open. But Scott says that it's no big deal, and he drives the car through the gate and crashes into a wall. They are both safe and finally get out of the car. But suddenly, a coyote lunges at him and bites off his neck. Liv comes there and sprays the fire extinguisher at it. The coyote leaves, and Scott thanks her for saving his life. On the other hand, a glass table breaks in Trip's house, and the curtain catches fire. Everyone gets back to Scott's home. He is terribly wounded, and Liv takes him to the bedroom so she can clean him up. Julie asks Chloe why Scott is scared of blood. She says that he cut his finger once, and the blood got into his food. From that time onwards, he has had a phobia of blood. Liv disinfects the wound. She then tells him about Chloe feeding the coyotes. But Scott says that the kid can't be the reason, and there is something else. He then asks her why Chloe didn't tell him about the coyotes. Liv says that it's because he is never present. Since the time they moved to LA, he has been so focused on his career that he pays no attention to them. But he defends himself by saying that he works hard so that he can give them the best life. He doesn't want them to live with any discomfort. But she says that their previous life was better because at least he was there with them. But just then, Liv stops, and they see that Trip's house is burning to ashes. Scott says that they need to leave immediately, as the fire will spread soon. Everybody has run out of their phone battery, but Julie still has her phone. He calls 911, but it goes on hold. He gives Julie the phone and asks her to stay connected. Chloe says that they should build a cage, but Scott says that they can't cage all the coyotes. But she says that they will stay inside the cage to protect themselves. Liv thinks it's not a good idea, but Scott says that he can build it from scratch, and this is their only way out. But just as they are talking, they hear a thud and find that the coyotes have gotten inside the house. Everyone separates and hides. One coyote starts to get down the stairs, but Chloe is sitting right behind it. It trips over a bowl on the table and starts to eat the food. Seizing the opportunity, Chloe sneaks out and tries to go upstairs. Soon, more coyotes start to get inside the house using the doggy door. Just as she is going up, she steps on a dog toy and it squeaks. A coyote hears her and runs behind. Scott gets up and attracts the attention of the other beasts. He is about to attack him, but Liv jumps on it with a table runner. Scott then takes a rake and stabs it to death. Chloe is hiding inside her closet, but the coyote soon smells her and attacks. She screams, and her parents run immediately to save her. She is found in an injured state, but she is still alive. Charlie is doing well as well. Scott sees all the blood and faints. He wakes up and finds that they are lying on his bed. Liv has tended to Chloe's wounds. She asks Scott for forgiveness and says that it's all her fault. But he stops her and says that she was just being kind, and there is nothing wrong with that. Liv then says that no one is coming for them and that they need to get their daughter to the ER. He goes to the basement and gives it his all to create the cage. As he is working, he finds their family album and Chloe's toys. He gets emotional and calls Liv. He says that she was right about his change. He never noticed when Chloe started to call him by his name instead of Dad. But now things are going to change as he is going to make amends with them. But just then, Liv asks him to repeat all that he said, as there was some network issue and she didn't hear anything. He changes the topic and says that they should go on a trip as soon as this is over. Julie is looking out the window and soon finds a van approaching. But Liv figures that it's Devon, and she needs to warn him, as he isn't aware of the coyotes. She tries to leave, but the beasts are just outside the room. Devon sees that the whole neighborhood is up in flames. Just then, a coyote appears behind him. He is ready to fight it, but the pack comes to attack him. He takes out an electric rod from his van and gets ready to fight, but the coyotes get scared and leave. He turns his back with pride, but one coyote jumps him. It starts to shred him to pieces as he screams for help. The family hears his cry, but they have no way to assist him. Liv tells Scott that he needs to make it quick, or they will not survive. Just then, he hears a squawking noise coming from the garage. He finds an old ventilation passage and crawls through it. He reaches the end and finds a bunch of coyote cubs there. He soon figures that the babies got stuck inside. He immediately connects to Liv and says that the coyotes want their puppies back, and that's why they are acting that way. He says that he is going to use the cage and release the babies. Liv is worried, but he says that he's got it. He gets inside his cage and rides it out of the garage. He calls for the coyotes, and they jump at the cage. He gains all his strength and gets out. He slowly sits down, and the coyotes approach him. His entire family holds their breath in tension. He soon lets the babies go, and the coyotes leave with them as well. They celebrate his victory and say that this is the best time to leave. Everyone gets out, and they finally reunite. Suddenly, another animal jumps on Julie and attacks her. Scott takes the electric rod and uses it to kick away the coyote. He also realizes that he isn't afraid of blood anymore. All of them get in the van and drive off from there immediately. Just then, the entire house blows up in front of their eyes. Scott says that he doesn't give a shit about it anymore, as they are all alive. They will go back to their old life. Devon is still alive, and he grabs a puppy and tries to kill it. Just then, a coyote jumps at him as they engage in a combat. You were watching a recap of the 2025 film Coyote. Hit the like button if you have enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel and get notified about our next video. Till then, you may also like this.